Welcome, Paula. Paula Reinhardt.
Thank you. Thank you for
Yeah.
having me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, Paula, you're an inventor of a product called Clean and Clear 360.
Yes, I
Yeah.
am.
Yeah. So, before we talk about that, let's talk about your story. Where were you born and raised?
I was born in a little town. It's the raisin capital of the world here in the San Joaquin Valley. It's Selma, California. And I lived there most of my life and moved up to Fresno. I think I was around 26 years old.
Okay. So, how was your childhood like? Your family growing up?
Well, I really loved being a child out on the farm. You know, we were kind of tucked back in the where the raisins and the grapes were, and we had cattle and sheep, and so I just played out in the fields, and I rode tractors and played in the mud and the ditch. We swam in ditches back
wow.
then, you know, and it was peaceful, and not like nowadays, I think, with the children not even going outside and, you know, playing. And so I had a really great childhood. My family has a lot of brothers and sisters.
wow.
So we were always around family growing up.
Yeah, yeah. How was your personality like growing up? Were you very loud, very quiet?
When I was born, my family my family said that I was already saying why, where,
Yeah.
you know, how. So I was
yeah.
always somebody to ask questions,
Yeah.
and always, you know, had a big imagination when I was little, and so that's probably why, you know, I
Yeah.
became an inventor.
Okay. Were you inventing stuff already when you were young?
So I think I started really being involved in wanting to learn about inventing when I was in my early 20s. And I was gravitated toward reading books about women inventors and watching shows on television, and noticed that I was always going to stores and looking and seeing what was not in the stores,
Yeah.
what was in the stores that I could improve. And my mind thinks about probably 10 inventions a day.
Really? Wow. Can you give an example of that?
Well, I don't know. It just kind of comes to me.
Yeah.
It's really weird. It's like visions almost. I'll be asleep, or I'll just be walking around somewhere, and a product will come into my
Really?
head. Yeah. I think that's kind of like musicians, how they start hearing songs in their head and then they start putting it to paper.
Yeah, yeah.
It's kind of, if you've got that inside of you, then it will manifest into a vision, I think. Whatever that is, whatever that craft is that you have.
Okay, so for your product now, it's called the Clean and Clear 360. Yeah, so how did that?
Well,
yeah.
I had been playing with prototypes for a long time, and a prototype is just your product that you put together and you make it look like it works. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just have to try to get it so that it'll work. And I had probably 10 of them in a box that I had been working on, different ones that I would put together. And one day I was vacuuming, and there was a bunch of debris stuck up in the cylinder of my vacuum.
Yeah.
And I took it apart, and then I couldn't get it back together, and I left it on the table for, you know, days because I didn't want to put it back together, and I was tired of sticking my hand up there, so I just said, that's it, done. I'm inventing something to take care of this problem.
Oh, wow.
So I went into the kitchen and started pulling out drawers and things I could stick up there and what it could work, and I just, you know, kind of worked through different items till I could figure out exactly kind of what I wanted it to do and look like. But even then, I did not find the proper dimensions that would fit in the cylinders. So that's when I knew that I needed to make my own product. And I made a prototype, and it worked beautifully. and it cleans out the cyclone cylinder vacuums in seconds.
So you did the prototype, and then.
So the journey with my product is that once I built the prototype, I knew that I wanted to license the product to a company and not take it to retail or online on my own because of the financial, situation. That it takes a lot of money to do that, to bring a product to market and have it manufactured. And so I went the licensing route, and I had a mentor teach me how to license a product because it's a specific process that you need to go through. And after a year and a half of studying, I went and started doing the work to get it licensed, and that entailed producing marketing materials, a sell sheet, a video, and then also I had to file a provisional patent to protect it. That will protect your idea for a year. It gives you a year to test the market, see if there's interest before you go file a regular patent, which a lot of people make that big mistake. They run out and they get a patent right away and spend tens and thousands of dollars when they don't even have a product that maybe anyone wants. So I filed a provisional patent and got my marketing materials ready, and then I searched on LinkedIn for companies that were in my niche market for the vacuum industry, and I just picked up the phone, and it was a little bit intimidating at first talking to these CEOs and vice presidents, and but after I did it once or twice, it was easy, and now I absolutely love it. It's probably my favorite part. So I ended up finding a company that was interested, and I flew out to Las Vegas. They were having a trade show, and pitched the product to them, and they liked it. And so from that point, we came back, and then we started working with engineers on the designing of it, costs from China. And once they got all of that together, they went ahead and started making a mold. The tooling, they call it. And all of this takes a long process.
How long has it?
I would say it takes anywhere from a year to a year and a half to 2 to actually get a product from the idea in your head to market. So you have to learn patience, and that's probably one of the things that I learned out of the whole experience the most. It was very, very difficult.
This is your first.
This is my first invention. So now, because I've went through all of the ups and downs and the ropes and the learning process, and have a successful product in the marketplace, I'm mentoring students, and I'm also providing private one-on-one consultations with anyone that wants to develop a product or license a product.
So how did you use LinkedIn to get your network?
Okay. Using LinkedIn is the biggest business networking platform out there in the world, and I've reached CEOs, vice presidents, executives, founders of retail all over the world on LinkedIn. And all it takes is finding your niche industry and then putting the word in, like mine was vacuum cleaning dealers or whatever. And then you just start going through, and then you linked into them with a quick little message of, hi, how are you? I'm a product developer, read your bio, it's amazing. Could we set up a time to talk? Something just very simple. And then you just, they'll get back to you. I would say 90% of the people got back to me that I reached out to. Yes. And then it's amazing because months will go by, and all of a sudden they'll reach out again. So, or you reach out to them, and then they know somebody else. So it's worked out really well for me. I've talked to people all over the world that are still helping me with things.
Okay. Oh, I forgot to ask you about your other experiences and careers before you became an inventor. Yeah.
Those were varied because, you know, I'm adventurous. And so I've been in sales. I started my own skincare company and was working with post-op surgery patients and burn survivors with makeup and skincare. I did that here in the Valley, and then I actually moved to San Francisco to work with a plastic surgeon in his office. That was years ago when it wasn't as popular as all of the skincare, you know, offices now. And then I also worked at a stock brokerage company when I was up there. And but basically, I've been in sales most of my life with usually cosmetic industry.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
And then I became a stay-at-home mother.
Oh, okay.
I had children, and it was really important to me to be at home with them. I lost my mother when I was very young in a car accident, and motherhood just means so much to me. So I kind of put my career on hold. But I thoroughly enjoyed all those years with my kids. But once they got older and they graduated and went off to college, that's when I knew it was my time. My time to finally do what I want to do, my passion inside of me. And that's when I started with the mentoring for licensing. I knew always that I was going to invent something. In fact, I wrote notes everywhere, little secret places that says, I will develop and license a product.
Oh, wow. When did you write that?
I wrote that when I was still had the kids, you know, and then I would go out in the backyard in the mornings, and every morning when I started my journey, and I dream and I think about what I'm going to do, and I vision what my day's going to look like, what my week's going to look like. And I would see planes going over, and I said, I'm going to be on a plane one day and pitch my product. I knew it, so and it happened. And to be honest with you, everything that I have ever envisioned in the process of this whole journey, I've envisioned it, and it's been exactly like that.
Oh, wow. Paula, so you talked about your that leadership conference you went to in San Diego?
Yes. It is called the Cetian Leadership Academy, San Diego.
Yeah.
And it is the most intense leadership academy anywhere. It is, I went for, there's 3 levels. There's level 1, and there's 2 sessions in level 1 and 2 sessions in level 2 and 3 in level 3. And literally, I thought I was going to go there to learn maybe better speaking, you know, things of that nature. And it...
Like lecture, right? Like
like a lecture type thing, because I went for speaking. And when we got there, it was a situation where they want you to break through anything that you have holding you back from being a leader. And to be able to be a leader, you have to know who you are and not have a bunch of gunk inside of you, I'd say, things that you've thought bad about yourself or what other people have told you, or experiences that you've gone through, like I went through the death of my mother, and some other experiences in my life. So this program teaches you to break through anything that you're feeling and emotions that you have not got out yet in your life. Because to be a great leader, you have to be very confident, and you cannot be emotionally, I think, drained. You need to be strong and confident to go out in the world and not only empower your team and everyone around you, but also to be, if people are going to attack you, at some point or another, when you become strong and a leader, this just what happens. People might say some things about you behind your back. She's not doing whatever the situation. Look at our political leaders, how bad that is. If they were not strong and was able to take criticism and know who they are, they could never lead. Do you understand? So this program that I was in was so intense. It was harder than anything I've ever had to go through in my life. But you know what? I had a breakthrough, and I got through all of the things I've ever went through in my whole life and dealt with it.
Oh, okay.
And so then the level 2 is where they really let you shine. So now it's a build up for your confidence and what you want. You know, I'm a strong, visionary, passionate leader. And then that way you're able to go out in the world and do what you're called to do.
Yeah. The knowing who you are at that leadership conference. What do you mean by, like, what did they teach you about that?
Well, they teach you about the world and how you're showing up in the world. A lot of people do not pay attention to that, and so they mirror you. They ask a lot of questions, and we go through a lot of exercises with other people that literally shows you how you are showing up in the world. Are you a victim? Are you playing that victim role? Are you confident? Are you egotistical? I mean, it's a way to let you evaluate yourself to see how you're showing up in the world. So in the Leadership Academy, you're able to dig deep within deep-rooted patterns and limiting self-beliefs that you have, and you're able to reset that and learn tools so that you can go out in the world and be confident and be able to help others. And I don't think that you're able to really do that if you first have not dealt with what's going on inside of you.
Do you think leaders are born or made?
I think leaders are made. And I believe that because there are people with the more type A personalities, but I also believe that it is something that you take on yourself. To be honest with you, even though I felt that I was confident and, you know, a strong woman, I kind of sat back in the back and let everyone else be the leaders. And I'm not really sure why I did that for a while. Maybe I just didn't want to take on the role, you know, because it was stressful, and I didn't want to do the extra work back then, and that could have been because I was a stay-at-home mother with children. I really don't know why. So it took me a while to realize my potential inside of me as a leader. I needed to have a little more self-confidence, and once you decide a path that you want to go on, and you're motivated and you have passion and you want to shine, then you'll have that confidence, and you'll find a team of people around you to support you, and then you'll soar, and then you will start coming out of the shadows and staying small, and you'll start to want to shine. And then once you start doing that, then you'll see how exciting stepping out of your comfort zone is to be a leader, because now you have the situation where you can start really inspiring people.
When did you start doing that? When was that moment?
When that moment happened, well, I will tell you, the moment that I knew that I had to get out of my comfort zone and get started on living the life that I wanted to live, and that time is running out, I was watching a movie called Joy, and it's with Joy Mangano. It's a movie where she invented the miracle mop.
Oh, okay.
And everyone should watch that movie. And in that movie, she went through a lot of struggles, but now she is the #1 person on HSN and has sold millions. And she sells all other kinds of products, and she's a billionaire. So she inspired me, but what was interesting is when I would watch that movie, and I watched it over and over, my stomach hurt so bad, and I was having to hold back the tears. And it was because Joy Mangano was doing what I was supposed to be doing. I was so tired of watching somebody else living my dream that I said, that's it one day. I watched the movie, I cried, I'm like, I'm done with this. I'm moving. I'm taking action. And that's when I started my journey. And that's the reason that I knew it. And I was let's see, my kids were just graduated, so it was about two and a half years ago.
Oh, wow.
And it was just a defining moment. And I think that a lot of people go through that in life, where it's just something, whether it's you talk to somebody, or you watch a movie, or you read a book, and you make a decision. So for me, being a great leader means that you're self-confident, you're strong, you know what you want, you're taking action, you're moving and shaking, you're one of these people that want to get out in the world and make an impact. So in order to do that, I really do think that you have to do the work on yourself first, and that's what I would recommend as being the #1 thing that women need to do if they want to be a great leader, is work on themselves first, to get them to a place and centered in their lives where they feel really good and confident and know that they can make a difference. And then when, my goal now is to go out into the world and impact the world as well with different charities, or teaching others through my education, uniting women and empowering them to be all that they can be.
So you have many lessons throughout your life. So what is the most important lesson that you have learned?
To be patient. I really feel that when you are impatient, you have anxiety, and you're not attracting the right energy around you, and you tend to keep reaching out and grasping in different places, looking for something, searching for something, and it's very, very hard for it to come to you, and you get more anxiety. And I think if you're just patient and are able to breathe and take that time to breathe in the world and be grateful for all that you have, you will start attracting what you want in life, and it will come to you, kind of like how the butterfly lands on you, rather than you running around in circles. I see a lot of people running around in circles nowadays. They just can't do enough on social media or whatever, spinning their wheels and being spent out of control, and are very unhappy and unsettled, I think. So yes, I would say to be patient. And for me, I started meditating. And so with meditation has really helped me to keep calm.
Thank you, Paula, for being here.
Thank you so much. I totally enjoyed it. I really appreciate you having me talk to women, and hopefully I've inspired them to be great leaders.
Thank you.
You're welcome.